are beginning a series, two-part series called Relationship Goals, where we're going to talk about how to not duplicate Coldplay Gate. You guys know Coldplay Gate from this last summer? Seems like an eternity ago after all that we've been through in the last 3 or 4 weeks. But Coldplay Gate is when a couple who basically ended the marriage, at least for the CEO, when they were caught on kiss cam and actually having an affair together, and quickly, because of their reaction, they were found out. They probably might have even slid under the radar had they not just ducked and hid during the kiss cam. But this series over the next 2 weeks is really to help you prevent this kind of thing from happening in your future marriage. What to do before marriage, and then there's a lot of what to do after marriage. We miss that part. And for those of us who maybe you're in between marriages and you would like for God to give you a spouse in the future, and you reflect on the past, you reflect on your previous marriage or marriages, if you can learn the principles in this series, if you can hunker down and go, you know what, I need to not only revamp my mind on what to do in between relationships, and if you're single and never been married for the first time, before your first marriage, if you can say, you know what, I'm going to give this over to God. I belong to God. I am his vessel with everything. That's what I just sang worship songs about. I'm dedicating myself to him. I'm going to also give my marriage. I'm going to also give my future marriage as God is preparing me for what he's got prepared for me. Then I'm telling you, you can have the marriage that you've dreamed of, and really that God dreams of for you. We got to get inside of his head. We got to say, you know what? What does he see? Because see, you're thinking about your relationships. You're thinking about, do I have something to do on Friday or Saturday night? Guess what God's thinking about? This is so foreign. This is so hard for us to get to. What is God thinking about when he looks at you and he looks at your relationship situation, and whether you're lonely on a Friday or Saturday night, or whether you're out dating somebody? Guess what he's thinking about? Guess what his mind is fixated on? Have you ever done that? Have you ever said, let me hop up into God's mind? God is thinking about your marriage. So different than the way that we think. We're thinking about, do I have this or do I have that, or is this going on in my relationship? Does he look good? Does he, and what are we talking about? And is he calling me enough? And did I get a text message today? God's thinking about my marriage, my future marriage. And he's saying, oh, I love you so much, and I have so much planned for you, and I want to prevent you from so much heartache, because I know that you also care about your future marriage lasting and standing the test of time. If you'll dial into his heart for you, if you'll say, you know what, I'm going to listen to what he says, not just before marriage, but after marriage. Next week, we're going to talk about what to do inside of a marriage and how to live unoffendable. And the principles are going to be so powerful. 2-part series next week is going to be so powerful for you. Then I'm telling you, you can have the kind of companionship and the kind of purpose-filled life that you dream for yourself. And really, we want you to get to a place where you're taking God's dreams for you in your life, because he made you. He made you with the personality that you have, the gifting that you have, all the uniqueness, the family of origin that you have, for a bigger purpose. And who you marry can either subtract from that massively, or it can add to that in a big way. A lot of Christians are living in marriages because they're so ironclad, never going to get divorced, but they're white knuckling it through their marriage as well. And God's saying, I don't want that for you as well. I don't want you to have to grip on and hold on, or have a spouse that's, staying at home while you go to church, and hey, you stayed married, but there's no spirituality at all. God's thinking about these things. How do you prevent a Coldplay Gate from happening that's what we're talking about over these 2 weeks. I was talking with a guy, not a great guy, in our church not too long ago, about 6 months ago, and he was in our church, and most people knew him. And he was kind of known as the guy who went around, he was single, the guy who, and he was, I shouldn't give any more detail about his life because you'd know who we're talking about, but he was known as the guy who, he was asking ladies out in our church. And I didn't mind that because, hey, we want Christians dating. That's the goal. We want unequally yoked to not happen, right? 1 Corinthians 7, if you want to know God's will for the spiritual status of your spouse, believe me, God wants you to date Christians, not non-Christians.